Birthday bombshell, cheers to me and my breakdown. You ever have one of those birthdays where you wake up thinking, yeah, this year it's all about me? Yeah, big mistake, because apparently, me was just the opening act for the most traumatic engagement announcement since. Ross said Rachel's name at the altar. Let me set the scene. Balloons? Check. Cake? Moist, I know, disgusting word, but accurate. Music? Slightly too loud, just enough to make your thoughts louder. Me? In a questionable shirt I thought made me look festive, but in hindsight, made me look like someone trying too hard not to spiral. I was ready for a solid evening of fake smiles. Awkward hugs from relatives I didn't remember inviting and one too many fries. But what I got was a front row seat to the theatrical performance titled, Surprise! Your girlfriend is now your sister-in-law. Yep, right there, in the middle of my own birthday party. My party. My cake. My Spotify playlist, by the way, which at that moment was playing Somebody That I Used to Know. Perfect timing. Thanks, algorithm. Bloody witch. And there she was, all glowing and smug, like betrayal was exfoliating for her skin, holding hands with my brother, like it wasn't the emotional equivalent of stabbing me with a butter knife from the cake table. We've got something to tell you all, she said. And for one brief delusional second I thought, oh wow, maybe she's going to announce we're eloping. Maybe the cake has money inside. Maybe I'm not in a nightmare directed by Netflix's darkest writers. But no. We're engaged! Cue gasps. Applause. A rogue God bless you. From an aunt who clearly thrives on drama. And me? I was just standing there, holding a paper plate with half a meatball on it, and the kind of expression usually reserved for people watching their house burn down. While holding the insurance policy, for the wrong house, I didn't speak. Not because I didn't have anything to say. Oh no, I had volumes. But because I physically could not compete with the sound of my own trust issues being born in real time. Honestly, I looked like a Victorian ghost who just found out their manor was being turned into a McDonald's. You know how people say it was like a punch to the gut? Nah, this was a gentle slap to the face. Repeatedly. With a chair. And the worst part? The absolute peak of irony? Everyone was looking at me for a reaction, as if I was going to clap, or give a speech, or bless the couple like some saint of self-destruction. Meanwhile, my brain was short-circuiting like a toaster in a jacuzzi. All I could think was, brilliant. I organized a birthday bash and somehow ended up as the uninvited guest. Cheers to me. And my emotional breakdown. Hope you all choke on the cake. Ads roll, matchmaker or master manipulator. So after the, happy birthday, here's your replacement fiasco, you'd think things couldn't possibly get worse. Oh, sweet summer child. Because enter my father. Yes, my very own biological contributor. A man of wisdom, they said. A pillar of the family, they claimed. Personally, I think he moonlights as an emotional arsonist. Let me explain. Apparently, and I say apparently because I wasn't consulted, obviously he had a quiet word with my girlfriend. One of those you are intelligent chats. The kind that starts with a smile and ends with someone sobbing in the bathroom. And just like that, she decided she'd be better off with my brother. Not a brother, my brother. Because apparently, keeping it in the family is the new trend. And betrayal is just character development now. Now I know what you're thinking. Surely there's more to it. Maybe he was trying to help. No, let's not give him that much credit. This is a man who once told me emotions are for people who can afford therapy. Subtlety is not in his vocabulary. He didn't just suggest she marry my brother. Oh no. He presented it like a business proposal. Stability, simplicity. Same last name, less paperwork. What am I, a discontinued model? And the confidence with which he sold it? Like he'd just brokered world peace, instead of detonating my romantic life. Honestly, if manipulation were an art form, my dad would be the Banksy of backhanded family decisions. He's the kind of man who could set the house on fire and convince you it's for your own warmth. And the cherry on top? When I confronted him as calmly as one can, when one's heart has just been handed to a sibling, he just shrugged, and said, it's for the best, love. She wasn't right for you anyway. Oh, right, of course. Silly me. Thank you for saving me from, what, love? Emotional security? Eye contact? At this point, I'm not sure if he's my father. or the villain in a low-budget Netflix family thriller. But sure, go ahead, rewrite my love life like it's a chessboard. And I'm the pawn that wandered too close to the queen. Honestly, he's got the nerve of a Bond villain, and the empathy of a brick. But hey, at least now he doesn't have to worry about 2 daughters-in-law. Just the one. Who used to kiss me? Cheers, Dad! Truly a masterclass in character assassination, wrapped in tradition and garnished with passive aggression. The brother, poster boy for who me? Energy. Ah yes, my brother, the human equivalent of a golden retriever in a waistcoat, dimples, charm, and apparently a memory so selective, he should be studied by science. He walks into the room, all innocent eyes and mild confusion, like he's just stumbled into the 3rd act of a drama he accidentally started. And I'm standing there, birthday hat tilted, like the punchline in a family sitcom. No one asked to be in. He looks at me and says, and I swear on the leftover cake, I didn't know you two were that serious. That serious. Mate, we were together for a year. You third-wheeled our anniversary dinner? Because you just happened to be at the same restaurant. We've literally double-dated with you. But sure, let's pretend you thought we were just hobby dating. Like crocheting or collecting stamps. And the best part? He says it while sipping tea, like he's auditioning for a Tetley advert. Calm, composed, 0 emotional cholesterol. Meanwhile, I'm 3 sips away from weaponizing the teacup. Honestly, the audacity of it all. He had the face of someone who'd accidentally stepped on your cat and then offered to adopt it. I'm supposed to believe he didn't know that the late-night conversations, the phone calls, the literal hand-holding at my house, all just flew past his radar like emotional stealth jets. No, not buying it. This man didn't just drop the ball. He punted it into another family's backyard and set fire to the rulebook. And the irony? Everyone else in the family is treating him like he's the victim. He didn't mean it. He's always been naive. He just follows his heart. Right, and I just follow betrayal, flavored biryani into existential despair. It's impressive, really, how he's managed to spin an entire engagement out of my heartbreak and still be the one getting sympathy hugs. And me? Oh, I'm just the emotionally devastated onlooker in the background, pretending the samosas aren't now trauma-triggering. Honestly, the way he played, Clueless should win awards. BAFTA for outstanding performance in ruining your brother's birthday. Bravo. Encore. Get him a trophy made of my crushed expectations. Her, my ex, his fiancée, our collective headache. Ah yes, her, the woman who once held my hand, shared my playlists, and said you get me like no one else. Now she's engaged to literally someone else, namely my brother, because apparently betrayal tastes better when it's homegrown. She shows up to my birthday party, arm in arm with him, wearing the exact same smile she used to give me when I bought her overpriced coffee. The betrayal? Impeccable. The eyeliner? Also annoyingly impeccable. Now imagine this. I'm standing there, surrounded by balloons, candles, and my last shred of dignity, and she looks me dead in the soul and says, "It's complicated." Complicated? Love, you're not doing your taxes. You're marrying my brother. The complicated ship sailed somewhere between pass me the espresso and, we're engaged now, surprise. And then, she starts crying. Not full sobs, mind you. No, that would imply emotional accountability. These were elegant, well-timed tears. The kind you see in shampoo ads, where they cry under a rain shower in slow motion. She's dabbing her cheek with a tissue, like she's the one being left. Meanwhile, I'm blinking so hard, my eyes are buffering. The crowd? Oh, they loved it. They clapped. Yes, clapped, like this was the finale of a K-drama, instead of the live broadcast of my emotional assassination. 3 acts. Act 1, steal my girlfriend. Act 2, announce it at my birthday. Act 3, cry in front of an audience. And somehow make me look like the heartless one. Bravo, truly. I didn't even get a proper breakup. No dramatic text. No, we need to talk. Not even a voice note, with background sobbing. Just poof, she switched boyfriends, like she was changing network providers. And then she ends it all with a whisper, "I hope we can still be friends." Friends? Oh, absolutely. Just let me put away my trauma, bake you a cake, and help you plan the wedding. Shall I be best man or ring bearer? Honestly, if delusion were a currency, she'd be funding a mid-sized nation. And you know what the worst part is? A tiny, stupid, heartbreak-shaped part of me. Still cared, still looked for a sign, a flicker of guilt, a stammer, anything, to prove that I wasn't just some emotional layover on her flight to Bobby Dom. But nope, nothing. Just a girl, a brother, and a party hijacked so perfectly it deserves a Netflix adaptation. The party, confetti, curses, and casual betrayal. Right, so it was my birthday, my moment, my day to shine. You know, one of the few socially acceptable times to be a tiny bit self-centered, without guilt or jail time. There were balloons. There was music. There was even a banner that said happy birthday, as if that would somehow soften the emotional trauma they had planned. We had fish and chips on the table, because nothing screams special occasion like soggy chips and emotional sabotage. Now you'd think the worst thing that could happen at your birthday party is someone forgetting your name or bringing a half-eaten cake. Wrong. Apparently, the worst thing that can happen is your ex-girlfriend, who, might I remind you, was very much your girlfriend. Until about 10 minutes ago, in emotional time, grabbing the mic and going, "We're engaged. Engaged, as in marriage, as in lifelong commitment, as in sorry, mate, I stole your girlfriend. But I brought a gift so we're even, yeah?" Cue confetti cannons, an inner devastation. They announced it mid-party, like it was some low-budget rom-com trailer. No one asked for coming this winter. My brother, my fiancé, and the idiot who paid for the balloons. The room went silent for a second, just long enough for the betrayal to sink into my spine, like emotional acupuncture. Then the clapping began, because of course it did. Aunties squealing, uncles nodding like wise sages. In a family drama, someone even said, "God bless you." And me, I just stood there with a paper hat on my head and a mouthful of betrayal-flavored coleslaw. It wasn't even good coleslaw. Now let's be clear, this wasn't a surprise proposal. This was a planned ambush, a hijacking of vibes, if you will. I was expecting cake and maybe a couple of "you're getting old" jokes. What I got was the emotional equivalent of being hit by a wedding bus, driven by my ex, with my brother waving from the passenger seat. And the worst part? They were smiling. Not guilty smiles. No, these were smug. We rehearsed this in the mirror smiles. The kind of smile that says, "We know this is evil, but look how shiny the ring is." I tried to be mature, you know. Tried to pretend like I wasn't dying inside, while people were taking selfies with the happy couple. Tried not to scream when my mom handed them a gift meant for me, because nothing says, "I raised you equally," like regifting your son's birthday present to his traitor brother. And in that moment, standing there holding a slice of cake, I no longer wanted, watching my ex twirl a ring that was probably bought with the money I helped my brother save. I realized something. This isn't a party, this is a plot twist, and I'm not the main character. I'm the cautionary tale. Happy bloody birthday to me. The people who swear they've got your back until you actually need them to have your back, at which point they're suddenly more into backstabbing as a concept. So there I am, stood at my birthday party, candles still warm, balloons still floating, my will to live rapidly deflating. Then she says it. They're engaged, my ex, my brother. And what does my family do? They clap. Oh, they absolutely clap. Not a slow, confused, "Is this a joke?" sort of clap. No, a full-on, "This'll make a great story at brunch" round of applause. You'd think someone had just announced free holidays for everyone, not detonated my personal life in front of a buffet table. And then, just when I thought we'd reached peak dysfunction, One aunt leans in and says, "Well, everything happens for a reason." Right, because obviously, the universe has a detailed spreadsheet, somewhere outlining ruin his birthday, then marry off his ex to his brother. Perfect character arc. How silly of me to assume. Betrayal wasn't fate approved. Meanwhile, my dad's got the expression of a man who thinks he's just closed a business deal. Mom's offering second helpings of trifle like emotional trauma is best served with whipped cream. Someone handed me a drink. Not to comfort me, no. To cheers the happy couple. I was half hoping it was poison, but no such luck. I scanned the room, looking for one face that might say, "Mate, this is madness." Instead, smiles, nods. Someone actually had the gall to say, "You'll laugh about this one day." Well, Karen, I'm not laughing now, am I? Honestly, if emotional backstabbing was a seasonal event, this lot would be stringing up fairy lights and passing out party favors. And then my cousin took a group selfie, captioned it, "Love wins." I was in the background, slightly blurry, staring into the void, like I'd just seen my own ghost. Whisper, "Run." So that was the big family reaction. Applause, cliches, and the kind of blind optimism only found in people who didn't just get emotionally mugged at their own birthday party. Stay tuned for the next part. My inner monologue. Sponsored by Repressed Rage, where the only thing holding me together was sarcasm and possibly cake. Cheers. My inner monologue, sponsored by Repressed Rage. So quick recap. Lost the love of my life. Gained a sister-in-law, and my birthday party got hijacked by a spontaneous engagement. Announcement that nobody, except the perpetrators, asked for. Yes, truly a banner year for character development. And there I was, standing in the middle of my own celebration, with the world's most aggressively cheerful paper, had slowly cutting off circulation to my forehead, thinking, brilliant, just brilliant. Lost my girlfriend, got a sister-in-law, and my party's now a bloody wedding trailer. Except I don't say it out loud. No, I smile. Because politeness. Because Britishness. Because apparently having a breakdown is only acceptable if you're doing it quietly, in the bathroom, while pretending to look for the loo roll. My face, plastered with the kind of grin usually reserved for hostage videos. Inside, an emotional circus fire, set to the soundtrack of distant screaming. I was mentally narrating my own Netflix documentary, titled "The Man Who Clapped Through Pain," coming soon to a platform near you. Filed under darkly comic, mildly tragic, and how is he still functioning? At one point, I caught my reflection in a mirror and thought, well, at least your hair looks good. That's something. Because if you're going to be publicly humiliated and emotionally disemboweled, you may as well do it with decent grooming. People kept coming up to me, saying things like, "You're being so mature about it," as if not flipping the table was somehow a Nobel-worthy act of emotional restraint. Honestly, if emotional suppression burned calories, I'd have been shredded by dessert. And the best part? I still had to thank everyone for coming, like the entire evening hadn't been a live action reenactment of How to Break a Man in 3 speeches and a cupcake. At some point, someone passed me a party favor with a little card that read, "Love always wins." I very nearly ate it out of spite. So yes, my inner monologue was less birthday cheer and more existential crisis in surround sound. But you know what they say? If you can't beat 'em, smile like a lunatic and narrate it for content. Coming up next, the fish and fries that knew too much. Stay tuned, or don't. Honestly, who cares anymore? Suspicion and spilled secrets. The plot thickens like bad korma. Right. So by this point I'd accepted my fate, dumped, humiliated, and emotionally mugged. At my own birthday party, I thought I'd hit rock bottom. Turns out rock bottom has a basement. It started with whispers. You know the type. Those oddly well-timed, passive-aggressive murmurs you get at family gatherings. The ones that stop exactly when you walk past, like they've just been gossiping about your Amazon order history or your search for how to disappear into the sea unnoticed. And the glances. Oh, the glances. Not normal. Oh, you poor thing glances. No. These were the kind of glances people exchange when they know something juicy and morally bankrupt, and they're loving every second. Then, because the universe never disappoints, comes the phone incident. Now, I wasn't snooping. Let's be clear. The phone was there, unlocked, open on messages, just sat there, blinking at me like a toxic digital piñata full of trauma. And because I'm only human, and at this point emotionally held together by sarcasm and a biscuit, I had a look. Oh, sweet plot twist. Turns out this little Romeo and Juliet meets Jerry Springer moment wasn't as spontaneous as everyone made it seem. The text? They went back months. Dates, photos, plans, literal wedding inspiration boards. There was even a message from my dad that read, "Let me handle him." Oh, lovely. Handle me. Like I'm a wasp in the conservatory. Or an inconvenient stain on the family name. Suddenly, the engagement announcement felt less like a shock and more like the season finale of a show I'd unknowingly been starring in bad lighting, no lines, and definitely no contract. And you know what's wild? Everything started making sense in the most nonsensical way possible. The weird tension, the awkward silences, the way everyone looked like they were in on a joke that just hadn't reached me yet. Turns out I wasn't just the ex. I was the obstacle, the mildly inconvenient footnote in someone else's romantic rebranding. And me? I'd been defending them, justifying things in my head, like a budget Sherlock Holmes. Maybe she's confused. Maybe he didn't mean it. Maybe I should have stayed in bed and eaten cake alone, like a normal, emotionally repressed adult. But no, I had to hope, and that's the real tragedy, isn't it? Hope, the ultimate con artist. So there I was, reeling from a betrayal that was not only planned, but practically choreographed. Tune in next time for the part where I raise a toast, deliver an Oscar-worthy passive-aggressive farewell, and try not to set the curtains on fire out of pure spite. Cheers. The twist, it wasn't just me getting played. You know those films where the hero hits rock bottom and then discovers he's not the hero, just a mildly sympathetic side character in someone else's mental breakdown? Yeah, that. So there I was, mid-existential meltdown, assuming I was the only poor sod who got emotionally kicked at my own birthday. Turns out, plot twist, we were all in the blender. Because apparently, it wasn't just me who got played. Oh no, it was a group package deal, like emotional Ryanair. She, my lovely now, fiancé now not well, she might have been pushed into this engagement, not in the someone held a gun to her head, way more in the your life will be easier if you just nod and smile, dear kind of way. Classic emotional coercion served with a side of family honor and light guilt manipulation. And him, my brother, golden boy, part-time heartthrob, full-time oblivious puppet. Turns out he wasn't exactly masterminding this twisted love triangle either. He looked as confused as me when certain family arrangements were revealed, as if he'd been invited to a wedding and only just realized he was the groom. Meanwhile, in the director's chair, Dad, plotting like a Bond villain, minus the charm, and with twice the passive aggression. Apparently, he had an entire drama series outlined behind the scenes, a sort of what-if multiverse where my heartbreak was just necessary collateral, because in his version of events, it all made sense. A tidy little family setup. 2 birds, 1 dysfunctional stone. Forget love, forget consent. It's all about alliances, like it's feudal England. And someone's merging castles. We were just badly paid. Extras in his low-budget Shakespearean remake, except instead of poisoned goblets, it was cold fries. And clapping aunt. I mean, the twist hit so hard, even the fish choked. Literally, someone nearly died on a fish during the engagement toast, which honestly would have been poetic. And the best part? No one blinked. They just carried on, smiling, nodding, acting like this was completely normal behavior, as if betrayal, manipulation, and awkward buffet lines were a Tuesday night in this house. So yeah, turns out the joke wasn't just on me, it was on all of us. Except no one's laughing, except me. Because apparently, if I don't laugh, I'll start flipping tables, and that's very bad. Manners during dessert. Stay tuned for the final act, where I raise a glass, toast the chaos, and silently plan to fake my own death and move to Norwich. Cheers. The grand finale. Toast, trauma, and petty farewells. Right? So there I was. End of the evening. Balloons sagging. Cake violated. Emotional damage. Peaking nicely. And me? Clutching a glass of something that promised to be sparkling, but was mostly just fizzy disappointment. Like my love life, really. I stood, took a deep breath, and channeled every ounce of heartbreak, Shakespearean vengeance, and TikTok-worthy spite I had left in my system, which, to be fair, was quite a lot. Then I said it out loud, in front of everyone, to the happy couple. May your marriage be exactly as faithful as your engagement. Silence. Not the good kind. Not the wow, that was powerful kind. More the, did they just witness an emotional murder in real time? Kind. Some nervous laughter from the back. Possibly someone choking on a spring roll. My mother blinked like she'd just developed a sudden allergy to reality. And the couple? Oh, bless. My ex went full frozen smile. The kind you only see on pageant contestants, or women who've just remembered their browser history is still open at work. My brother looked like he desperately wanted to become one with the floor. Me? I raised my glass, sipped, and gave the camera a smile so fake it should have come with a recycling symbol. Honestly, the only thing keeping me upright was petty energy and well-seasoned samosas, which, by the way, absolutely slapped. If betrayal had a flavor profile, it would be spicy, flaky, and shaped like a triangle. After that, I made my exit. No dramatic storming out. Just a slow, elegant strut, with my dignity trailing slightly behind me like a forgotten shopping bag. I didn't even take the party favor. I am the party favor, darling. Trauma-flavored. And wrapped in sarcasm. As I stepped outside, I looked back one last time. Not at them. No, they were dead to me. But at the buffet. Because pain fades. But good fish and fries, that stays with you. So there it was. The toast, the trauma, the kind of emotional mic drop that makes people talk about you for weeks and pretend they didn't enjoy it. Roll credits. Play melancholy indie track. Freeze frame on my face. Half smiling, half screaming internally. Because that, my friends, is how you turn a birthday into a full-blown emotional festival of fire. Cheers.